Batman, 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 hey, Batman, Batman. What? Mr. Never use a gap, man. Never turn like a Batman.
Yo, what is going on, y'all? This is your boy A1 Hoops back up in your feed with another video. And before we go ahead and get into that, take a look on the screen. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and make sure you guys follow me on all these social media platforms for daily hoop content. So with that out of the way, what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about James Harden's MVP case as well as his transformation. Since getting traded from Houston to the Nets, he's been a new player. So let's go ahead and get it started. Let's take a look at what Nick Wright has said in regards to James Harden's MVP case.
Before we reveal them, we could argue about what the most impressive is, but I think everyone would agree the least impressive is the last one. He's averaged more assists, more rebounds, and it's the fewest points. Can we show those 4 years, please? Those are 4 James Harden years, and what do they all have in common? None of those years he won MVP. I took out his 2018 year when he actually did win the MVP. So if James Harden is an MVP candidate averaging 25 and 11, one must wonder why he didn't win it when he averaged 29 and 11. Why he didn't win it when he averaged 36 or 34.
Now, clearly, Nick Wright is being very disingenuous in order to prop up his case for LeBron as the MVP. He left out a lot of context, and he actually included the stats from James Harden's few games that he played in Houston at the beginning of the season. And all of those things actually make James Harden look worse. But luckily, you have me, and I'm here to bring the truth. Let's take a look at the stats for James Harden as a member of the Brooklyn Nets, and let's see how different it actually is, because these are the things that Nick Wright completely left off. Now, if you would, take a look at the screen to look at the stats that Nick Wright indeed left off. Since joining the Nets, James Harden has averaged 25.3 points per game, 11.3 assists per game, which would be the best he's ever done, 8.7 rebounds per game, which is a career best, 49% from the field, a career best, 42% from three, which would be a career best, a 64.6% true shooting, which is the best since he was in OKC, and only 4 turnovers per game, which is the lowest he's put up since the year 2015. So these are the things that you can see Nick Wright clearly left off in order to discredit James Harden's case for MVP. Now, James Harden was acquired by the Nets in a trade on January 13th. Now, since that trade has been completed, the Nets have went 16-6 with James Harden in the lineup. And not to mention, the Nets also went on an 8-game win streak with James Harden in the lineup. Now, here's some other things that weren't mentioned and why James Harden really does have a solid MVP case. He's put up 7 triple-doubles since arriving in Brooklyn out of the 23 games he's played. The comeback against Phoenix when they were down almost 20 points with no Kyrie and no Kevin Durant. And James Harden essentially willed his team back with 38 points. Last night, he put up 30, 15 assists with 14 rebounds with 0 turnovers. That hasn't been done since 1977. So when it comes to James Harden and his MVP case, what is there not to love? Why is he not being discussed? In terms of the 23 games that James Harden has played, in 20 of these games, so in every game with the exception of 3, he's had a double-double. Are you kidding me? There's nothing you can really say objectively to make the claim that James Harden doesn't have an MVP case. James Harden this season has taken a giant step forward. He is a completely different player. For the vast majority of his time in Houston, he was primarily score first, and then he'll get maybe 8-9 assists. In the 2017 season, he's shown the ability to be a playmaker when he literally led the league in assists at 11. But this season, he's become more of a true point guard. And when I say true point guard, he's still getting buckets. I mean, 25 is nothing to slouch at. That just speaks to James Harden's greatness. I mean, the fact that he's averaging 25, getting in the high 20s, yet we're still questioning if he can score more. That just simply speaks to his greatness as a basketball player. But since arriving to the Nets, he's been the primary ball handler and primary decision maker, and he's excelled in this role. And a lot of that is thanks to Kyrie Irving, who accepted his role as a 2-guard. But James Harden is simply sensational. When you watch the Nets play, he is simply a wizard with the basketball. And the fact that he isn't being discussed in the MVP race is disturbing. He's at least a top 5 MVP candidate. And if things keep going the way they're going, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, there's no way you can keep this man out of the race. And that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Follow me on all those social media platforms. The link will be in the bio. And with that being said, A1 Hoop signing off. Have a good one.